Hello, grade 9 students. This is teacher Felisa. Welcome to our English class. In this discussion, materials needed are your book, pen, and your notebook. Today's lesson is on tracing the legacy of Zaha Hadid, architecture's esteemed anomaly. It is on your student anthology book on pages 362 to 365. Today's objectives: read the story Tracing the Legacy of Zaha Hadid, Architecture's Esteemed Anomaly, and evaluate literature as an instrument to express and resolve conflicts. Now let's take a look on Zaha Hadid's history. Okay, she is known to be the queen of the curve. Okay, let's see later on why is it queen of the curve. Now she was born in Iraq in 1950 and studied architecture at the Architectural Association and first woman to win Pritzker Architecture Prize, and of course also first woman to be awarded as Royal Gold Medal by Royal Institute of British Architectures. Okay, and now this is the background of her story. Architect Zaha Hadid was known as the Queen of the Curve. She got this nickname because her designs for buildings typically use many curves and slopes rather than sharp corners. Later on, you will see in this video her curves outputs. Now, Hadid was born in Baghdad, Iraq, and studied architecture in London. She started her own firm in 1979 and gained worldwide attention in 1993 for designing a unique fire station in Germany. Her best-known projects include the 2012 London Olympics Aquatic Center and the Al Wakra Stadium in Qatar, currently being built for the 2022 World Cup. A pioneering female architect, Hadid won many prestigious awards for her work. Now, her philosophy in life is to discover and invent architecture and forms of urban planning in a contemporary way, and to connect buildings to form a new kind of landscape to flow together with contemporary cities and the lives of the people. Now, Hadid's theories of fragmentation and fluidity are now well-known design techniques which enabled her from finding. Now, in this video, I'll be showing you some of Hadid's works or Hadid's curves, okay? Now, the first work or first curve of Hadid is in Azerbaijan, okay, an 8th floor building. Next is in Beijing, China, 18 floors, okay? Next is in Dubai, UAE. Next is in UK. Other works of Hadid is in Australia. You look at the picture. It's more on curve, right? Next is in UK. Again, in London. Now, those are just some of the curved works of Hadid. Now, I want you to read deeper the story on pages 364 to 369 of your student anthology book. Now, let's try to ponder and answer some of the critical thinking questions of this. Now, first is reread the first two paragraphs of the article about Zaha Hadid. What can you infer about the author's opinion of the gender gap in architecture? Use evidence from the text to explain your answer. Okay? Now, possible answer is the author is dismayed that there is a gender gap. She says that the qualifier female tends to define Zaha Hadid, but that it shouldn't. She notes that this qualifier would be out of place in other disciplines. Next is, Hadid is described as an anomaly. Cite at least two reasons the author gives to support this claim. Right, the possible answer is Hadid was a woman in a male-dominated field. Hadid had a unique style known as parametrism. which pushed technology to adapt to what she drew by hand. Next question. The speaker of the poem Architecture says that rigorous rectangles or border a dreaming perspective. How does the phrase rigorous rectangles contrast with or differ significantly from the phrase dreaming perspective? What idea about architecture does this contrast suggest? Now, possible answers. In your letter A, the speaker is describing sharp lines and straight edges. The speaker is suggesting something more gentle and less rigid. In your letter B, different architectural styles can contrast with each other but still work together in one building to create beauty. And next is personification is a type of figurative language in which a non-human subject is given human characteristics. Now cite at least three examples of personification in architecture. And letter B, how does the poet's use of personification help develop the idea of architecture as something beautiful? Possible answers. In your letter A, the speaker uses the phrases an eyebrow of stone on the unruffled forehead and a window. Letter B, comparing architectural structures to human features encourages readers to view architecture as something beautiful that is worthy of care and is inspiring. Fifth question. The poem speaker says that architecture is a figurative from apparent forms. A fugitive is a person who has escaped from a place and is trying to avoid being captured. Now, how does this phrase connect to Zaha Hadid's architectural style? Possible answer. Zaha Hadid used unconventional techniques in her work and explored new ways to stretch the limits and boundaries of certain forms. And lastly, if the poem speaker saw Hadid's architecture, how do you think he or she would react to it? Why? Cite evidence from the texts to support your answer. Possible answer. I think the speaker would enjoy Hadid's architecture because it uses many different forms and combines lines and curves. Okay, girls, please don't forget to read thoroughly the story. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you and God bless.